What's new, crew? If you're new, my name is Cassandra. Today I wanted to take you guys along in my kitchen and show you guys how you can make really quick, easy, from scratch-ish, mostly from scratch, meals and not having to spend a ton of time in the kitchen every single day. So I wanted to bring you guys through a full day of breakfast, lunch, and dinner and showing you guys some really easy, quick meals for those days when you don't want to spend a ton of time in the kitchen, but you still want to have good, delicious, home-cooked meals. So let's go ahead and hop in and start with breakfast. Alright, you guys, we're starting with German pancakes for breakfast. I like this recipe because it uses 6 eggs, and with a lot of laying hens, it's a good way to use up a lot of eggs in one go. So I'm just cracking in 6 eggs, and then we're going to add in a cup of milk, a cup of flour, and you just whisk all that together, and it makes these like protein puffy pancakes once you put them in the oven. So what I'm doing here is just taking my fork and whisking these eggs together, and I'm also going to prep the dish that we're going to bake our puff pancakes in, and that's really simple. I'm just using a 9x13 pan. I'm putting in 5 tablespoons of butter in the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to put it right in the oven while it's preheating to melt the butter, and I'm going to use that to coat the bottom of the pan for like the non-stick purposes. The recipe does call for that, and then the butter rises to the top of the pancakes, and they are so good, you guys. So there's our cup of milk, our cup of flour. The recipe doesn't call for this, but I like to add cinnamon and a dash of vanilla. Really yummy. Typically you would put powdered sugar over the top of this, but my kids actually don't like that, so I leave it plain, but we're just gonna whisk that together. And this batter never gets super smooth. It's not supposed to, so if you're making these and you think your batter is too lumpy, it's completely fine. Don't worry about it. Just pour that mixture right into your pan, pop it in the oven. I'm pretty sure it's 375 for like 20 minutes or something, and they make delicious pancakes. This is breakfast this morning. I will link this recipe down below, but it's really simple. I like it because it uses a lot of eggs, and with laying hens we have a lot of extra eggs, so it's basically like a really heavy protein pancake, and most of my kids really love it. I have one kid that doesn't like super love it, but they eat it. So we're gonna do this for breakfast this morning. Usually you would put powdered sugar over the top, but my kids actually don't like that, so we actually just top ours with syrup. But you could do applesauce, preserves, jams, anything like that. That would be really delicious. During the summertime, I think we're going to top this a lot with fresh berries. That'll be delicious, and maybe like a little bit of whipped cream for almost like a dessert. That would probably be fantastic in the warmer months, but we're going to get this divvied up, get some syrup on it, and this is going to be breakfast for today. I went shopping down in the basement this morning, and I grabbed a thing of pizza sauce, grabbed some salsa. I also pulled out 2 pounds of ground beef, some pepperoni, and some mozzarella cheese from the freezer. So for lunch, I think we're gonna do a pizza party with the kids. My husband got called in really unexpectedly last night for some overtime today, so he's not gonna be home till probably about 3 o'clock. So I think I'm gonna try to do something fun with the kids. We actually have plans to do something fun with the kids this weekend, but Joe wants to be a part of those fun plans, so we're gonna hold it off for today. So I figured just to like replace that, let's do a pizza party and like make a fort in the living room and watch a movie this afternoon. So that's what I'm gonna do with the kids to keep them happy today. So we're gonna do pizza party for lunch, and then I think I'm going to make this like Mexican taco nacho dip thing in the crock pot. So come along with me, let's prep lunch, let's get dinner in the crock pot, and let's just make breakfast, lunch, and dinner together today. So let's get going. The very first thing I'm going to do is actually prep some pizza dough. If I have time today, I'd like to make 1 or 2 extra doughs to put in the freezer, but if not, I'll just do it a different day. We'll kind of see what happens. My pizza dough recipe is written down below for you guys. It's super simple, and we love it a lot. It works amazing. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of yeast and some water. So we're going to do a tablespoon of yeast, and I'm going to put in about a 1/4 cup, maybe a 1/2 cup of warm water, and then we'll reserve the rest of the water for later for mixing when we put in our flour and stuff. I'm going to put our sugar right on top of this and let it start to activate and bubble and get yummy and delicious. This is a tablespoon of sugar. So I'm gonna let this sit for a minute while I pull out my crock pot. For our crock pot dinner, this is actually gonna be very simple. This is completely frozen. I just pulled this out like 15 minutes ago. All I'm gonna do is put this ground beef in here, turn it on low, and let my crock pot do the work for me today so that I can hang out and play with the kids and just have a lot of fun and not have to worry about it. So all I'm gonna do is plug this in, and we'll come back to this in a couple hours once this is cooked. So while my pizza dough was kind of coming together, I took a minute to throw my meat for dinner in the crock pot, just low and slow for the whole day. I'm gonna let my crock pot do the work for me. Now that my pizza dough is just done, you can see it behind, it's just kneading in the KitchenAid. I'm just gonna take a little bit of olive oil in my bowl, put my pizza dough in there, make sure I get it nice and coated in that olive oil so it doesn't dry out, and then it'll be ready for when we're gonna make our little pizzas, our individual pizzas for the pizza party. If you are wondering, I did one batch of pizza dough that's linked down below, and it gave me 4 really good sized mini pizzas. All the kids were able to make one, and I was able to make one. They were great sizes. We actually had leftovers for our mini pizzas. Fantastic. We're using our canned pizza sauce that we made this summer, cheese, pepperoni, and some peppers out of the garden as well. Everybody's pizzas are in the oven. We have some interesting takes this time. We have a cheeseless pizza. The girls both did pepperoni, and then I did more of a supreme style pizza. That's down here. I like my crust really thick, so I made a thick crust this time. I kind of want to find a thin crust pizza crust recipe, if that makes any sense, because I do like that too. But everyone got their pizzas. They're in the oven. These are just gonna take a couple minutes to cook. So this is what makes the pizzas the best. Take a little bit of melted butter, put in a little bit of garlic salt, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, mix it all together, and then you take this mixture and you put it on the crust of your pizza, and then you get like a garlicky breadstick with your pizza. It's like a 2-for-1. It's so good. So I'm gonna mix that up, put that on my pizza. The kids, I don't know, I might put it on theirs. We'll see what happens. I'll ask them, and whoever wants it will get some, but that's what makes it delicious. Then you put it back in the oven, let it finish cooking for the last like 5 minutes or so. That is the best. Here is my pizza. So I made mine a little bit thicker just because I had more crust than the kids, but this was my individual pizza. So good. I did put on that Parmesan garlic butter on the crust, and then once again, just throughout the day, I was just kind of stirring my meat in my crock pot a little bit, letting my crock pot do the prep work for me so that I didn't have to do it on this day. I love to use my crock pot just for prepping, not just whole meals. And just like that, we're on to dinner. So this is like a Mexican style rice we're making. I wanted to do this in a clear like measuring cup so I could tell you guys how much I was putting in. So it looks like about half a cup of homegrown salsa to me. And then I'm going to put in about, I don't know, 1.5 cups of water, and we're going to turn that water into chicken stock. This is what we're going to use as our cooking liquid in our Instant Pot for our rice. So delicious. This makes a really nice Mexican rice with like the tomatoes and the onions and the peppers and the salsa. So good. So I'm just rinsing my rice here. Totally optional, but I think it makes for a better rice. We're putting that in our Instant Pot for 4 minutes on high pressure, and that is going to make the best, most delicious Mexican flavored rice at home, and it's so good, you guys. So this is my cooking liquid with my rice. Here we go. Here's our rice. You can see the beautiful tomatoes and the peppers and the onions. Delicious. And then we're going to go on to the meat that we cooked in our crock pot all day. So this is just ground beef. All I put in it was like 1.5 cups of corn and some Mexican like taco seasoning. We took the rice and our meat mixture and put them in our tortillas, seared them with some butter, and that was dinner for the night. So delicious. Thank you guys so much for taking a little bit of time on your day to hang out with me in my kitchen. It always means a lot to have you guys here. And of course, I will catch you guys in another one. Bye.